I just want to say thank you to AJ, to you and all your DVDs, because I could deal as a mom with so many denied emotions I had zero idea of, because I was always a perfect mom and everything with the other 3 children was working perfectly well. And from 16 years on, I was always on doing something spiritual courses and all over the world and spending heaps of money.
Yeah.
And 18 years ago, I gave birth to a disabled child. She has Down syndrome, and later on I found out she has a hearing disability and she has autism. And I never once cried about it, and I actually still haven't cried about it, because I had all those new age strategies.
Yes, yep.
And every quarter of a year I went to some kind of retreat to keep me afloat, and it worked perfectly well in all other areas. But my disabled child, she went downhill, refusing to get dressed, refusing to get in the car, refusing to cut fingernails, refusing to wash hair, to comb hair. So, and I can get on, soiling her bed after when she was a young child, never soiled her bed. Yeah. So anyway, I can go on and on and on. It was
refusing to eat the good food and
now with food she was okay because I had that under control.
Yeah.
But so, and I had some money and did lots of courses to learn also strategies with disabled kids. Yep. Also, I was a teacher, so I knew a lot anyway, and was very proud of myself. And because she is severely intellectually disabled, so all my strategies didn't work in the end, and only for a couple of weeks. Yep. So, and what I only found out recently, I mean, I listened to the DVDs and all, I knew it in my head. But only a couple of weeks ago, I actually can now immediately, if she sits on the floor and not wanting to move, I know it's me. And I look immediately, what was my fear? What was my thought? And it could have been, for example, recently my other daughter, she has a baby and her husband has children. And we were together at an event and everything seemed happy. And suddenly she attacked my little grandchild, and I immediately, usually I would just cope in a different way. Yes. But immediately I knew it, I have to look, and I haven't found it right away. But at least I found the block. I found that moment to look. And then she calmed down. So I just want to say, it's such an enlightening experience to know I can finally do something when I have looked everywhere. Or basically, I have looked everywhere to help her and me to cope with our lives, because it's quite lonely as a single mom with a disabled child. But I have only always helped myself to be in that happy bubble. And I was always happy. Had workshops at my place and whatnot, going to other events, and I was always happy. And I knew all the latest things was happening in the world, with which guru and whatnot. And my child was the proof that nothing worked. But I didn't know it until I found you. And even then, it took me half a year to even
to understand what I was really saying in a practical way.
And I couldn't cry. I went to also processing group, and I thought, oh, for God's sake, that's the last thing I want to do. Because I never cried. You don't cry. If you're intelligent and whatnot, you don't cry. And
a disabled child is actually one of the best reflectors of a person's emotion. And the reason why is because they don't have the intellectual barriers we've established in what we call a normal child. A normal child has received all these intellectual and emotional barriers to feeling theirs and your emotion. Whereas a disabled child, so-called disabled, they're not very disabled when it comes to emotions. They are spot on the ball every single time when it comes to emotions.
She is spot on. I never knew where to look. And I just want to say that to every other mother too. You don't need to have a disabled child to finally wake up.
Exactly.
You can do it with your own child every moment. And I'm just regretting, because my other 3 children, they are so intelligent, and I took them, they went to Sai Baba and took them to other events, or one of them went to Sai Baba. So anyway, and they, like me, are not have never learned to deal with their emotions. And another thing is, I never watched in my whole life movies.
Yep.
Because, first of all, I grew up with television when 1956 in Germany we had television.
Yep.
And so I didn't want that in my life anymore. And also, I only, as an adult in Australia, I only watched a movie when I was feeling really bad, which happened very rarely.
Yep.
Yeah? Then I watched a nice movie. And now you're recommending various movies, and that was also the last thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I walked out of so many cinemas with a partner also, because I don't want to see that crap. It's just an illusion, it's not true anyway,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm watching movies and I can cry. And I think of every single movie, I think of something in my past and I can look at it.
Yeah.
And
see where a relationship between it.
Yeah.
What you've been doing a lot, Rita, is now you're actually being honest with yourself.
Exactly.
For the first time in your spiritual development. In
Exactly.
A way. Yeah.
And I was looking down. I mean, I knew there is something like spiritual materialism, but I wasn't one of them.
Yeah. And most people who are in the New Age movement have this almost haughty look at everything else. But in reality, what you're just relating is this soul conditioned reflection of your child back to you as a parent. That is the perfect reflection of your own condition.
Yeah.
It's just so wonderful. Like, it's a beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing.
No.
It's a beautiful thing to actually acknowledge and then work with. Yeah.
And I just want to say, I'm so grateful. I can't believe it. It's just changed my life.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot. We've known a lot of. We know quite a number of people who've got autistic children or Down syndrome children, and when they actually apply the principles of divine truth in their own soul, the child just changes immediately.
Immediately.
The
At the
beauty.
drop of a pin.
Yep.
And so everything you say is true,
Yep.
because with normal children, they have the intellect.
That's right.
Yeah?
They have to work against
But my
the
child
block.
hasn't.
That's right.
But I never knew to look there. So
Yeah.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah. And so she is, in a way, your perfect
Yeah.
road home to God.
And my
right?
life is now so easy.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
And the other beautiful thing, Rita, is, you know what the other beautiful thing is?
Yeah?
She will lead you home to God enough for you to become at one with God. And you know what you'll be able to do then?
What?
You'll be able to heal her of her Down syndrome.
Well, I've heard that when she was born in the New Age movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you think that is possible.
Yeah.
Because actually she's quite intelligent. As other carers say that too.
Yeah.
She's very intelligent, even though she has a low IQ. But who cares about IQ, yeah?
So that's the beauty, is a child who is so in tune with their own emotions, like a autistic or Down syndrome child is, can actually lead you to God so rapidly, if you're humble, can lead you to God so rapidly that by the time you get to God, you'll be able to heal the child.
Yeah. And I want to say something else. I have another daughter. She went to Harvard, so she's highly, highly intelligent, yeah? And that is so funny. If she visits, she is so much drawn to her. Yeah. She's so patient with her, yeah? But she's just the opposite, so she would never come here, because it's just another fad her mother has.
With the amount of changes you're making, you never know what might happen in the future.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah.